You're listening to the MAVcast, the community podcast brought to you by LordofIce72 and TwilightLink21xx.
Welcome, everyone. Man, it's been a while. I am one of your co-hosts here, LordofIce72. Well, Drew. I just go by Drew nowadays because I don't really use my YouTube channel that much anymore. And joining me is, well,
good
go
old
ahead.
TL21xx, who uses his YouTube channel just as infrequently, and the cat's kind of out of the bag. You can follow me on Twitter, so I guess everyone knows me as JD these days.
Yeah, you should probably follow me on Twitter as well, if you be so inclined. Just my full name, Andrew Thomas Muller. Just getting, I'm trying to build up a Twitter fan base, and if you want to see or hear, actually, just see. It's been a long night, folks. Give me a break. Just my random musings, mainly about the Cardinals baseball this time of year, and just what I think about random stuff in general.
Yes, of course. So, since we last convened, and it's probably been a while, because actually I think we might have convened once in between now and the time that the last podcast was uploaded. It may have been lost somewhere in the digital wild.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a lot that's happened.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and catch up a little bit. What has really interested you as of late, Drew?
Well, for those who do care, I graduated from college, so I've been basically just been pounding the pavement trying to get a job as of late. Other than that, not a whole lot. Just been playing games, reading manga, doing nerdy stuff like that.
Par for the course.
Yeah.
Of course.
What about you?
Me? Well, I've been busy with film school stuff. Let me see. Where do I start with that? Oh, man. Did a bunch of stuff over the summer with my animation professor. That's been going quite well. We're actually preparing something that might actually end up hitting a few animation festival circuits. So as that progresses, we'll keep people in the know. It's a little bit of a strange project. It's not really a narrative project. It's really more along the lines of one of those experimental type flicks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, basically we're compiling years and years of animation done here at the University of Texas at Austin and putting it together into one fluid morph. So it'll be a really cool project once it's done. But that's what I've been doing over the summer. It's been really eating into a lot of my gaming time, but I have managed to get into the Yakuza series, and that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. How you enjoying that?
Oh, it's really good. I'm actually on the second game right now. The localization is laughably bad, but the core story is really solid, and I really like the gameplay.
Very cool.
Very reminiscent of Shenmue.
I thought so. Because, no, I lost track of thought. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. Well, I'm playing a game right now, so I apologize to anyone that's hearing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater in the background. But I just picked this game up for a couple of bucks today. So, other than that, I've just been playing Tales. I've been in preparation for Tales of Exillia 2, which I picked up on release day. But interesting story which happened there. Like, as soon as I got it on release day, I took it home that night, and I was installing it, and the unthinkable happened, and my PS3 broke. So I had to send that off for repairs. And I think that it got sent down somewhere in Texas. I think.
Now? That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go to California, because I think that's where they have their headquarters.
Yeah, that's where the headquarters is. But a lot of the Japanese companies have actually been moving out to Texas. And I wouldn't doubt that's where they have one of the labs out here. Probably even in either like Austin or Houston or Dallas, one of the three.
No, it wasn't a big city like that. I think it wasn't Amarillo. I forget where it was. I'm sure if I looked up the tracking information, I would remember it. But other than that, it doesn't really matter. It got fixed. 2.5 weeks, or actually not, just 2 weeks after I get Tales of Exillia 2 on release day, I'm finally playing it. I'm about 20 hours in. It's a good game, but not as good as the first one. Not even close.
Yeah, I've heard differing opinions on that one. Some say it's better, some say it's worse.
It's worse. It is Worse for one exact reason, and for those of you who have played it know what I'm talking about. The death system is atrocious. Hideo Baba, I don't know what kind of crack you were smoking whenever you thought that was a good idea, but that is one of the worst decisions you've made as head of the Tales series. I don't know what is wrong with you, but never ever do anything like that ever again. I have student loans in real life that need to be paid off. I don't want them in my video games.
Yeah, speaking of Tales, I actually need to get back to Vesperia. I still have that lying around.
Actually, no, I take that back. A lot of people seem to like that game. I was lukewarm towards it. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah. The other thing that I've also got laying around that I'm about to jump into once I finish Xenoblade, which it's hilarious. I'm still playing through that game. I've had since day one release date, but literally this game is the one game that I've literally picked up, put down, picked up, put down almost consistently for about 2 years now. It feels like. But I was a little concerned, though, because my Wii started acting up on me, I think maybe 2 days ago. And I think the laser might be giving out again, which, you know, to be fair, is a $5 laser. I can go in, I can replace it. It's not a big deal. It's really an easy operation if you know what you're doing. But, yeah, I mean, I hopefully it's working again. I haven't had a chance. I've been so busy the past few days just with classes and getting back into the swing of things that...
hopefully you have to go to school.
Hey, it's my senior year. Back off.
Hey, I just graduated.
Yeah, exactly.
I graduated on the 1st of this month, so I'm not even a month. Well, I guess technically, yeah, I'm a month away from graduated.
Yeah, you're a month, but you know.
Yep. So hopefully, this new job that I interviewed for just today actually will I could actually get the job. So that'd be nice. Fun.
All right, folks. Well, we don't have an agenda for the evening like we normally do.
Yeah, we are going off the cuff, and this is all because you want to test out your new software.
Yeah, basically, we're powered by Adobe Audition from here on out, and we're using a interesting rig for those that are technically inclined. You probably have noticed already I'm using a compressor microphone, but we're trying to find some different ways to try and get Drew onto the Audition, because last time we tried to do it like this, we've always ended up going back to the good old software solutions, but I think I finally found a way by basically piping him into the soundboard directly. Kind of sucks because now I'm having to edit on a mono track, but you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't make that big of a difference. So if things sound a little bit off, let me know. If things sound better, let us know.
Yes, preferably sound better.
Yes.
Don't spam our inbox saying, you guys suck.
Please.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay, so for sure I know that we were going to talk about some of the latest gaming announcements, of course, because that's what we do on this channel. We talk about games. Might hint a little bit about wrestling, possibly.
Oh yeah.
Especially because the past month has just been atrocious.
Oh.
Outside of the age of Brock.
Yeah. Well, yeah, aside Brock Lesnar, that's the only positive thing that WWE has going on right now in their television program.
Yeah. Although TakeOver's coming next week, and that'll be good.
Well, but on their television program, I mean Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
I'm excluding NXT because that's on the WWE Network only and some Hulu.
Exactly.
But yes, TakeOver's coming next week. Let's get right to the point. Who do you think wins that Fatal 4-Way?
Let's see. I hate to say it, but everyone's joking, saying that it is not going to. We know who it's not going to be.
Yeah,
Tyson Kidd. But
yeah, Tyson Kidd's not going to get it.
I don't know. I don't know. With the way they've been pushing him, I could buy it. I could see them going for it.
Granted, I've never been high on Tyson Kidd. I just never have been a fan of him.
He's really good in his current heel role. So.
He is, but at the same time, I have just never been into Tyson Kidd.
Yeah. No, the one that I know it for sure is not is Sami Zayn. They are definitely pulling a Kenta Kobashi on him.
Yeah. He is, I've said it once before and I'll say it again, he is the Tommy Dreamer of NXT. Gets close, but never quite wins the big one.
Absolutely. And the thing is that he's so good, he can pull it off without getting hurt at all.
Yeah. Although, it kind of, actually, we were, or not we, but I listened to the Solid Monster Sounds Off. If you haven't listened to his podcast, please listen to it. Probably... I'm going to say it's the best podcast, wrestling podcast on the net right now. And he, I think he was talking about how, for selfish reasons, he doesn't want.
Disagrees.
Say what?
The Attitude Era podcast disagrees.
No, it's definitely Solomonster. We're a Team Solomonster house. But anyway, Solomonster was talking about how, for selfish reasons, he doesn't want Sami Zayn going up to the main roster. And you know what? I kind of agree with him. I don't want Sami Zayn going up to the main roster because look what they have done with the people they brought up.
Well, look at who they've brought up. I'm sorry. You have to keep that in mind, too.
Well, Bo Dallas was getting over. Adam Rose was never going to get over.
Adam Rose was a joke. Bo is working the way that he's supposed to work, so that's not an issue. Bray Wyatt has been handled magnificently, except for
the burial 2 Mondays ago.
We don't talk about that. And then and he's risen above it. It's all good. And of course, there's also Rusev. Now Rusev they've handled impeccably.
Yeah.
I'm just scared of the fact that it's very likely they're going to turn him into Cena Chow.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't do that. Hopefully they don't.
But who else are you going to have beat him? He hasn't been beaten yet.
Cesaro?
Possibly.
Cesaro's a viable choice. Your next U.S. champion, whoever it is, it's basically not Sheamus. That's a viable choice. Since they're going to be taking that belt off of him pretty soon, it's pretty obvious. Especially since there are rumors that they're getting him ready for a heel run. But that rumor's been flowing around for forever, so we'll see on that one.
He needs a good heel run,
he does. He's much better as a heel than he is as a face. And it's too bad, because the thing is that he's a good face, but he was kind of sabotaged. He just booked him completely wrong.
Yeah. One thing... Oh, what was I going to go with this? Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate on my run on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and talk at the same time. I'm playing the mall level, for those of you who know what that is. There are rumors going around saying that Creative has already given up on Bo Dallas and Adam Rose. Adam Rose, I can understand. He was never going to get above a certain level anyway. But Bo, the guy was getting over, especially with that comical win streak he was always flaunting around until R-Truth, of all people, R-Truth beats him. And I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I'm still mad at that decision.
See, I'm okay with it, but then again, I don't see Bo Dallas as having much of a future outside of being a comedy jobber, to be perfectly honest.
Well, this is before they screwed him up. I could have seen him as maybe a U.S. or a IC champion. I'm not saying put the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on him already.
Of course.
But, he's never going to get there, let's be honest. But it was a good character. He's still trying to get through it, but Creative has done absolutely nothing with him, and they've given up on him, supposedly. And that's really disappointing because they could have done so much with him. They could have continued the win streak up until he wins 22 matches in a row. And by the way, this is not my idea. This is all Solomonster, so all credit goes to him. And you could have introduced a number of guys from NXT, let's say Sami Zayn. Say Bo Dallas goes 22 in Bo, if R-Truth doesn't beat him, and then he could come out and say, it's like The Undertaker couldn't even go 22 in Bo, but I did. But I'm going to offer another some young buck in the back a chance to come and dethrone me. And then out comes Sami Zayn. And yes, a lot of people who watch Raw don't watch NXT. So you're going to have a lot of people who don't know who he is, but you'll have a lot of people who will know who he is. And they'll start the ole, ole, ole chant. And so Bo Dallas would probably cut a promo saying, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? How are things down at NXT?" But Sami Zayn takes exception to this. The match starts. They have a good, let's say, 5-10 minute match. It doesn't have to be very long. Fluke win. Sami gets the win either from the, as much as I hate to admit this, maybe the distraction roll-up or something like that. But Sami Zayn wins, and Bo goes ballistic, and boom, you have an instant star made right there.
Yeah, but the problem is that, and this is the issue, and it's always been Bo's issue, is that his gimmick is really, really polarizing. Either you love to hate it, or you just outright hate it. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people, it's a significant chunk of the audience is flat out turned off by Bo Dallas. They just literally just don't like him. And there's nothing that you can do. It's kind of the nature of his gimmick. It's a complete parody of Cena taken to the extreme.
Yeah, he's a heel who thinks he's a babyface. He just doesn't know.
Yeah, and the thing is that, it works really well in the indie circuit. It worked extremely well at NXT, but I think the issue is that it's another gimmick that just doesn't translate to the big WWE stage, unfortunately.
Yeah, and how poorly does that reflect on Triple H? Because NXT is Triple H's baby. Vince McMahon has nothing to do with NXT, so you have all these guys getting over and doing very well in NXT. Then they get up to the main roster. Creative doesn't know what to do with them. They lose interest, and those guys are floundering in the mid-card. And
you have to, because of how well it works in NXT, you have to also question, is it really them, or is it just that creative has no clue what they're doing?
Well, I say it's a little bit of both, but I just don't want this to reflect poor on Triple H.
Oh, no, absolutely, because Hunter has God, he's such a wrestling nerd. If you actually listen to Jericho's podcast this week, both of them, both parts, his interview with Triple H is just absolutely fantastic. And it's actually, and this is something I've been noticing, IWC is notorious for hating on Triple H, but as time has gone on, they've really respected him. And I think that this podcast that just came out is another reason to really respect the H. I mean, the guy loves wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, say what you will about his in-ring performance. I mean, I really wasn't that much into him.
See, I was, so.
Yeah, well, I didn't think he was all that good. I mean, he was never at that main event level caliber until the year 2000 when Mick Foley put him over huge. He was always the guy that worked with the guy that made the money. In this case, Shawn Michaels. But and plus, I still have bitter feelings towards Triple H a little bit during his reign of terror from 2002 to 2004 when Raw was just an atrocity to watch.
His defense, who was there really at that time?
Yeah, I understand. Rock was gone to Hollywood. Austin was gone from retirement, so they really had nobody else. But at the same time, just watching him do what
absolutely.
he did from 2002 to 2004, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth.
Oh, absolutely. And granted, that's kind of the point because he was the #1 heel. But it's very difficult when you're dealing with your top guy being your top heel. It definitely complicates matters quite a bit.
It does. Although I will admit, I did love the Evolution storyline. That's my guilty pleasure. It sucked. Yeah, it sucked, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, you had Randy Orton. Here's how far back we're going back. This Evolution is so old. Randy Orton had hair. Yeah, so we're going back nearly a decade. So I really liked it how they brought up Randy Orton back when he was a Legend Killer, and Dave Bautista, even though I was still relatively young. I was in junior high, so I really didn't know a lot about wrestling. I was still in my older markish phase. I really didn't get all the backstage stuff, but I knew it was fake. I knew it was scripted and predetermined. I just didn't know all about the backstage dealings. But so I was kind of a Dave Bautista mark, even though he was atrocious in the ring, and he still is atrocious. I respect him. He seems like a cool guy.
Oh no, he's one of us. He's definitely one of us, judging by some of the stuff he's been talking about lately.
Yeah, and plus he played an awesome character in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a good movie. But anyway, so I mean, Triple H, him being the top heel on Raw, with him being champion every week, or it seemed like he was champion every week, every time I watch Raw, it caused me to just turn off Raw, literally, and just watch SmackDown, just SmackDown only. Now, I can't even imagine doing that now. Oh, God, that'd be horrible. So, anyway, that's my feelings towards Triple H. Overall, I think he's a positive force, and I respect him, and I kind of like him now.
Yeah, it's hard not to like him now is the thing, with the Performance Center and whatnot, and NXT being literally the greatest independent promotion on the face of the planet.
Would you really consider it being an independent promotion, considering that WWE owns it?
The reason I say that is because of the talent. It's not actually an independent promotion, but the style of wrestling is definitely more in the vein of indie than true WWE at the moment.
Oh, yes. And actually, what I really want to do is, well, I'm going to watch NXT TakeOver, but
of course.
I really want to watch a lot of the G1 tournament that's going on in New Japan.
Oh, gosh.
The G1 Climax tournament.
G1 Climax was supposed to be amazing. And if you browse Wrastlegaf, There actually is one of the users on there, and I might post a link to this in the description. There is an entire list of the best matches from the G1 Climax that I believe Heavy compiled together. And the star of that tournament, though, was apparently AJ Styles. I don't think Styles had he had maybe 1 or 2 bad matches. Which, when you know, the thing about G1 Climax, for you guys who don't know, G1 Climax is a massive multi-day tournament that takes place over the course of, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And it's just constant wrestling. And by the end of the week, a champion is crowned as the G1 King. And it's usually for the championship, right? The IWGP?
Yeah. I'm not into, since I can't watch New Japan or All Japan every week since I live here, we both live in the United States.
Of course.
My exposure to it is very limited. But from what I understand, yes, it is for, I think, either the IWGP Junior Heavyweight, or it's for the IWGP Heavyweight.
I think they have 2 tournaments.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's 2 tournaments, one for the heavyweight, one for the junior heavyweight. Yeah, and Styles was in the one for the heavyweight.
Yeah,
because he basically took DeVitt's spot in Bullet Club.
Yeah.
When WWE took him. So Styles is now the Gaijin King of New Japan, and it's working out really well.
Yeah, and I think I've only seen 1 match from the G1 Climax tournament, and that was between AJ Styles and Kazuchika Okada. I think I might have my new favorite wrestler in Kazuchika Okada.
Oh no, Okada's amazing. He's really good.
Oh, and I love his antics whenever he comes to the ring, and whenever AJ Styles and Okada were in the ring, this is before the bell rang, and the crowd was chanting Okada, Okada. Okada actually touches his ears and kind of like of a gesture of, you hear what they're saying? I was like, oh, that is awesome. I love this guy. Oh man, Japanese wrestling.
Oh,
Do
man.
yourself, yeah, folks. If you don't, I almost want to say don't watch Japanese wrestling, because you're just going to be depressed if you're a WWE fan.
Oh no, you won't be for much longer, because we got the illustrious Genta.
Yeah,
all caps.
Kenta.
Kenta's back, and then we also have DeVitt now. So no, it will, and I feel like they're gonna really help with them, and with guys like Daniel still around, who had that fusion style, Cesaro, who are guys that actually will stiff people pretty hard. Not as hard as Kenta though. Kenta stiffs.
Yeah,
which is great.
I just hope Kenta isn't too stiff for the WWE style, or else no one's gonna work with him.
No, they'll have him calm down just a bit. But anyways, so basically, if you don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, join the Puroresu revolution and dive in, please. Although fair warning, you may never want to watch WWE ever again because of it. You will, but not for the in-ring product. That's for sure.
Yeah, because the big difference
outside of NXT, of course.
Yeah, the big difference is that Raw is a variety show, much to my dismay, and much to Vince McMahon's very delusional outlook on things, and at least for the G1 Climax tournament, it is just straight wrestling.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. If you are an old school wrestling fan like us, then it's so good.
It's heaven. It's basically
nectar from God. So good.
Yeah. So I highly doubt we have any Japanese listeners. So if you are in Japan and you're a wrestling fan, I hate you. You guys have the best stuff right now, and it makes me sad that I can't watch it. I guess I could have technically ordered the G1 Climax tournament, but it was $150 on iPay-per-view. I'm not paying that much for an iPay-per-view. For $50, I'd do it, but not for $150.
Yeah, it's difficult because it is worth it when you look at how much wrestling you're getting. Mm-hmm. You really are, because it's 2 weeks worth. But
yeah, and plus there's the language barrier. Not that I need to understand what the announcers are saying, but it's mainly the characters, the wrestlers themselves, because without someone explaining it to me, it's hard for me to tell who's face and who's heel in a foreign country.
It is a little difficult. That's kind of why I'm glad that I am taking Japanese here at the university, because hopefully I'll be able to get past that soon. But
yeah, because whenever the crowds in Japan are basically completely different from the crowds here in North America and in Europe. So basically in Japan, the crowd is silent. Well, they're not entirely silent because whenever wrestlers make their introduction, they cheer, and then when the match starts, they are dead silent.
Yeah,
and that's to show respect for the competitors. Which
if they're being noisy, there's a problem.
Yeah, but I actually kind of like that. I think it's kind of cool how they do that.
It's very cool. Although things are starting to change a little bit, and you're starting to hear more chanting going on, especially if you watch like Wrestle Kingdom. Oh my god!
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 years ago, last year's Wrestle Kingdom, not this year's Wrestle Kingdom, last year's Wrestle Kingdom, I think.
Yeah.
The one when DeVitt started doing the face paint stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they keep. I hope they let him do that in WWE.
Oh no, he is.
Good.
We've already seen backstage pics. He's going to be able to keep that. So,
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're going to take a very short break here on the podcast, the MAVcast, of course. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about WWE, talk a little bit about what Nintendo's been up to, some other gaming news, and who knows, we might venture off into some other ridiculous topic.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out. Stay tuned. And we're back, folks. Back to the MAVcast and back to the talk of pro wrestling.
I'm done. We're done with the G1 Climax tournament, folks. And we're done with just basically gushing over Japanese wrestling and how much it's better than WWE right now.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, we do have to talk about WWE.
Yeah.
And
well, let's talk about the good stuff before we dive into the bad, because the bad is going to take quite a bit of time, guys, and will involve a lot of speculative booking, per usual, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
No, in terms of pro wrestling right now, I guess the main thing to be excited about is the future with NXT. We've already talked a little bit about TakeOver, and a couple of the guys coming in, Kenta, who will be premiering at TakeOver 2 next Thursday. But we've also got a few others, like Prince Devitt, who's been signed, and a major score in one of the biggest names from the indie circuit to make it back into. Yeah, the guy that no one saw coming.
Yeah, well, I kind of did, but I never thought I didn't think he would get there this soon.
It wouldn't. I never thought it was going to happen.
Really?
To be perfectly honest, Steen, because of the image issue that WWE has, Steen as a performer is top tier, but he does not have the typical WWE look at all.
Well, that's something that they're going to have to get over, and I hope that with this latest signing that they do get over it soon.
Absolutely. Oh no, and they will. They will. From what we've heard, there is nothing but praise for Kevin Steen backstage. So,
yeah, don't get us wrong. He's not going to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He's got a couple IC runs, maybe a U.S. title run.
No, he'll get the belt once.
I don't think
he'll get a token belt. Like
maybe
he'll get a Mick Foley token belt if he makes it to the main roster.
And hopefully he'll last more than 29 days total, because Mick Foley won the thing 3 times and only lasted 29 days. Not even a full month.
Yeah,
collectively.
Of course, you have to be realistic here. Not everyone that gets into WWE developmental actually makes it the main roster. We also would happen to Eating Spirit Chris Hero.
Mm-hmm.
Chris.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pics of him now are just so depressing.
Oh well, they can't all be winners.
No, they can't. Anyway, so but NXT is looking great, especially with the guys that are already there. I mean, you got a super card at NXT right now with Kenta, Devitt, Steen, Sami Zayn, and Adrian Neville, Tyler Breeze. I mean, you look at the talent they got down there, and it's just the Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy.
Oh yeah, soft.
And
I can't do it as well as they can.
Soft.
Yeah.
And then you've also got
the SAWFT.
Oh yeah, those things are great. And then you also have Kalisto down there.
Yeah, Kalisto and Sen Hunico, the new
Unikara, yeah. So, I mean, the card down there in NXT, and that's without even bringing in the factor that the women's wrestling actually is good on NXT. With Charlotte, who we think might be making her way up to the main line very soon, possibly losing the belt at TakeOver 2.
Against Bayley.
Which would be great. Bayley with the belt is always good. And then, we get to see Charlotte on the main line roster. That way, they can have Rick be on TV, which is always a plus. It's always fun to see Flair.
Yeah. The only thing I have against Bayley is that her finisher is weak. Same with another one of my favorites down there, Bull Dempsey.
Yeah, Bull. Yeah. Man, I don't know what's going to go on with Bull now that they got Steen. He's kind of redundant, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens with him.
And that kind of sucks because I like Bull. Yes, I know he's as generic as white toast, but I don't know. I just saw something in him.
Yeah.
Plus, I like it whenever he crushes Mojo Rawley because I used to be high on Rawley, and then I realized
his moveset is so bad.
It's hilarious.
So bad. It's too bad because I mean he seems like he's got a decent look. He's got a decent voice. He's okay on the stick, but man, is he terrible in the ring. He needs a lot more time.
I don't think that WWE is going to allow him to have that much more time. Honestly,
it's tough. It's tough. So, so if you're not watching NXT,
shame on you.
You're doing it wrong because NXT is home to the best in-ring product.
Don't even watch Raw or SmackDown until WrestleMania next year.
Yeah,
yes,
it feels like it. It feels like it. I mean, look, we're suckered into it already. So yeah, we do watch because we got to keep up. But yeah, it's been bad, folks.
I don't watch it live. I just watch it on
DVR.
Then I wait till it's over. Then I can fast forward all the stuff that I want to, which really leaves me with just 20 minutes of actual stuff that I actually like.
Yeah, it's tough. I do typically, because I'm not doing anything on Monday and the rest of my days are pretty busy, I do suffer through it live usually, or I'll watch it later in the day, later evening, I should say, and go out and get stuff done. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Raw then. Before we talk about Raw, we need to talk about SummerSlam itself.
Awesome
we're gonna skim over the fact that there was some, SummerSlam as an event overall was solid this year. Lots of good things happened. Dolph's the new IC title champ, so that's always a plus.
One could argue that's not a good thing considering that belt is cursed.
Well, but then again, Ziggler's also cursed in his booking, so two negatives mean a positive?
Maybe.
Negative times negative equals a positive, so that's my guess.
Yeah.
And they seem to actually care. I mean, he's got that program going on with Miz, so at least they seem to somewhat care.
Yeah.
And that program's been entertaining. No.
I'm sorry.
Dude,
Mizdow is even Dolph Ziggler can't save that program.
I like Mizdow, okay?
No,
that was hilarious.
That just made me really depressed seeing Sandow like that.
Well, the rumor is that he's getting a push. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did not hear about that, but I don't trust this company right now with anything.
True.
So hopefully Sandow can get back to where he was, maybe as the top mid-card heel.
Yeah.
But because I really like the intellectual thing. I had to look up words whenever he would cut promos. Had a dictionary by my side.
Always. Well, the other thing that was amazing from that pay-per-view, of course, as everyone knows, was the main event itself.
Yes.
Because it wasn't perfect. Obviously, you had that Jericho Wyatt match. Yeah. I don't know why those guys have they don't gel, and it's a real bummer.
Yeah, but
what can you do?
Credit to Jericho. He wants to work with the younger guys.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I love it.
I respect the living hell out of Jericho. He is one of my favorite of the old guard because he does that.
But like you said, he doesn't really have any good chemistry with
they just
Wyatt.
don't have ring chemistry, unfortunately. And before we get to the main event, this I want to hear because, before even that, sorry. We're just going to go through the card, I guess.
Yeah, let's just go through it.
Ambrose and Rollins in a lumberjack match.
Stupid stipulation is stupid, although
it was a good match.
At least we got a match.
Yeah, no, the thing is that what was crazy is that usually lumberjack matches suck.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought they made the stip work this time.
No, they did not. They
were able to at least work around it. That's the thing. I don't know. I enjoyed the match. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
But it really doesn't make any sense, though. Because before they did SummerSlam, before SummerSlam came up, Ambrose talks about how when he and Rollins were in the Shield, and Ambrose is saying, we made a lot of enemies whenever we were in the Shield, and they would love to get a piece of you. So I'm going to have a lumberjack match. That's the stipulation I'm going to choose. Apparently, someone in creative forgot that Ambrose was in the Shield too. So they're going to beat the crap out of both of them.
Yeah. That was kind of what we were expecting, and that's really how it should have been. Because it makes sense. It's like, yeah, beat the crap out of both of them. And why would Ambrose do that? Because he's insane. That's the whole thing. That's his gimmick. He's crazy.
Yes.
So it kind of works, but it doesn't quite work because they don't deliver on the booking.
No, because I mean the match was okay. I mean it wasn't a 5-star match or anything. What I really had a problem with was when Kane came out, and I guess the Lumberjacks started beating the crap out of both Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, so it just turned into a cluster.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, though, their feud has just continued to escalate. And the way that they got Ambrose off of TV, which we'll talk a little bit about later.
He's filming a movie, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the reason he's off TV.
Yes.
But basically, their feud was so good that, honestly, there's no doubt in my mind that's what was keeping things interesting in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So... can't fault them for that. Okay, the real one that I want to talk about before the main event is Reigns versus Orton, because that was his first major singles match. What did you think of it?
I thought it was forgetful.
Yeah, I felt it was too. You could tell that they had been rehearsing it. That they pretty much, and this is probably how almost all of Reigns' matches are going to have to be. Just because of the nature of how he wrestles. It felt like it was all choreographed in advance. That he's having to do the warrior thing. Yeah. Where they plan everything out because...
Well, Savage did it too.
Savage did it too, but the reason that Savage was able to get away with it was because he had such a diverse moveset that he needed to kind of know in advance, okay, we're going to do this, and then we got to make sure that we set it up, otherwise it's not going to work. Yeah.
And then Miss Elizabeth comes in and does her thing, and yeah.
So, but, Macho Madness for everyone, yeah. So,
Slim Jim. Sorry, I love Macho Man, guys.
Got to. We all do. We all miss him. Anyway, so, but the deal is that it I don't know, it felt so mechanical. It didn't feel organic, and really it did a better job than most of the stuff that we've seen with Reigns at covering up his limited moveset, but he still has a really weak moveset. There's no getting around it. And honestly, if he is supposed to be the guy, he needs a couple more moves at the very least, and good God, does he need some... I don't know why Hunter isn't drilling psychology into his mind. I think it's probably because of Vince, but
yeah, Vince definitely.
He just doesn't have it. I don't know why, other than just the image. Apparently, he has this look, but I don't know. I don't buy him. I really don't. I feel like
no one does. No one a part of the. For the lack of a better term, IWC. Yeah. I hate that acronym, by the way.
No, it is terrible because it's such a fractured community now.
Well, that and everyone is on the internet, so it's really just the WC.
Exactly.
But everyone on the IWC, nobody buys this guy because they want to turn him into another John Cena clone.
And the thing is that'd be a complete disservice to him.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that you're
a lot better. Yeah. I think he would be better off, not as a John Cena clone, but teach him some more moves, get him some more moves, and for God's sake, get him better on the mic.
Yeah.
His promos suck. Yeah. He's trying to do the whole Jake the Snake Roberts thing where he talks
they
softly.
Gotta stop it. They gotta stop this. I can't buy him as serious. I'm having trouble vocalizing it because of how bad he is as this quote unquote, for lack of a better term, badass. He's not. I mean, you look at everything else that he's done, and I just don't buy it. I look at him, I'm like, we've seen him doing lots of press work, and he's a really solid hand for press work. And a lot of that is because he's just being himself. And honestly, at the end of the day, and this is just my take on it, I think what they need to do is they need to have him step away from that, lighten it up, embrace that lighter side of him, and let him just have fun. Because honestly, he seems like a really likable guy. He really does.
Yeah,
so,
same with Cena.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to go grab a beer with Cena every once in a while if I knew him personally.
Yeah, no, John Cena's a cool guy. He's just poorly booked. John Cena is poorly booked. He's got the difference between Roman Reigns and John Cena is that John Cena has a moveset. It's not a big one, but at least he has 5 moves. Reigns has 3.
Yeah, you need at least 5.
And even then, Cena has more. He just doesn't have to use them very often.
Cena, I almost at a loss for words with him. I mean, I don't hate the guy personally. I'd love to hang out with him. He likes anime, so we'd have a lot of stuff to talk about outside of wrestling. But and as much as I give him crap for the 5 moves to doom, because honestly, name me one guy on whenever he was on top in WWE that didn't have 5 moves. Even Bret Hart was guilty of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Shawn.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Shawn
Michaels.
Although Shawn was better about it.
Yeah, Shawn was
better at masking
he had
it.
6.
Yeah, and he masked it really well. It wasn't the same thing every time. Shoot, the only thing that you really knew that was over with was the one move of doom out of nowhere. Super kick, but it was worth it.
Yeah, and even my favorite wrestler of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he
absolute definition of 5 moves of doom.
But to his credit,
he
had to cover up due to injury because Owen dropped him on his head.
Yeah,
he was a much better technical wrestler, especially in his WCW
Oh my god,
days.
I love Stunning Steve.
Yes,
so much better than Stone Cold in everything but gimmick.
Yes.
Which is why early Stone Cold is so good.
You
get the best of both worlds. So
exactly.
Anyway, so yeah, that's my take on the Reigns Orton thing. I feel bad for Orton because he's gonna get all the crap for this, and he shouldn't. I've been warming up to Randy lately. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's motivated again. I'm not really sure, but I feel like he's earned a lot more respect from me as of late, and it's really weird for me to say that. Maybe it was him getting busted open at Money in the Bank.
Well, that was a purely by accident.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, he kept going.
Yes.
With a crimson mask. So that's probably... See, that's what blood does to you, folks. It changes your opinions on people. It's why a little bit here and there hard way doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, well, I could do without the hard way because I'd rather them blade, because that hard way had to have hurt like hell.
Oh, no, of course it did. But
yeah, I'd rather them do blade a little bit so it doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah. Well,
as little sense as that make.
Yeah. Well, anyways, regardless, main event.
One of the best main events I've seen in a while on
Suplex.
A pay-per-view.
Eat.
Suplex, repeat.
Sleep.
Suplex, repeat.
Suplex, repeat. Suplex, repeat. Oh my god. So someone posted on YouTube one of my favorite videos, which is all 16 suplexes from that main event. This was not a technical match. This was never meant to be a technical match. This was a squash match. It was
Something
a god tier. Absolutely. So good, though, because it was Brock. The age of Brock is upon us. And I'm okay with Brock not showing up. Actually, I think him doing the whole, The Rock live from satellite thing.
Yeah.
That works so well because it's Brock Lesnar as champion.
Well, that and a lot of people don't want to admit this, but having the champion not be there every week, that's old school booking. They did that all the time during the territory and the NWA days.
It was a way in order to drive the quality of the ticket up for the main event, that we could get more money out of the people. They paid more to see the champ. And the other thing, and this is the more important thing, was that they also had a stronger secondary belt. That was the belt that, you actually respected that belt a little bit. Like, even though the top belt was the belt and it always would be the belt. They also brought prestige to the lower belts because these guys were having to defend them more often.
Exactly.
Specifically the IC belt. There's a reason that people said that for a while there, you weren't really sure which belt actually did mean more because they had elevated that belt to such an extreme back in the 80s with guys like Dragon, Steamboat. So,
yeah, and you mentioned the video of him suplexing John Cena 16 times, and John Cena, he's taking these hellacious bumps and getting dropped on his head, getting dropped on his neck, and that could not have done his neck any favors because he has had surgery on that neck.
From what we're hearing backstage, he's actually been in quite a bit of pain, and this was before Brock. So the fact that he, did that, I mean, it's pretty crazy. He's a trooper. I will say, for all the crap we give him, these are the moments when we are reminded, no, John Cena can wrestle, and he can take punishment, probably better than anyone else on the roster.
And at the very least, take bumps.
Yeah. But and then, and looking at the aftermath, the real issue is at the end of the day, our hate for John Cena has to do with the booking.
Yeah, I actually, if I ever do go to a televised event, I want it to bring a sign that says "Who books this crap?" But I know I'd probably get that taken away.
Yeah, you probably would.
But it's so true.
It really is. No, you should take a sign that says "Hire Russo" because even he's got more sense.
I would get mugged if I did that.
You would. No, but
I would get killed.
Did you see? As we're about to transition to how awful Raw's been, did you see the letter that Russo posted?
I have not read it. I've heard of it, but I have not read it.
Basically, he says what the IWC has been saying, except that he writes a very personal letter to the WWE saying, I'm not saying what you need to do at all. I'm just saying that it's pretty clear, and I think you guys would agree, the stuff you guys have been putting out there is not the best you have to offer.
Nope.
You have a great roster, probably one of the most talented ones in years, which is definitely true. Please utilize it and give them something to do, anything, and just work harder to put out a better product. I think we can all agree the product that's currently on the air is garbage. In a nutshell, that's what Russo said. Vince Russo of On a Pole stipulation match fame.
And
how many
Cageception. Yeah, and one old lady on a forklift match.
Yes, he did that too.
I can't believe I forgot that. I think I bleached that from my memory.
Yeah, dude, the DVD I need to get is that OMG, the most shocking moments of WCW. Yeah. Oh my god, I need that disc.
I can't wait till that's on the network.
Yeah.
I think I might have already missed it, but they were showing it on the network.
The OMG thing?
Yeah, of WCW.
It was just a brief preview.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, because the what they were showing was really the because it's a Blu-ray right now that's available to buy, and then also on the network they also have I think they have a countdown for stuff like that. So
yeah,
countdowns are fun.
Yep.
So, anyways, okay, Raw. Good God, the past every single Raw since SummerSlam has been terrible for one reason or another, and partially it's the booking of Cena. They have unrealistically, like the Monday after SummerSlam felt amazing and it felt like we were going somewhere great. Then they have to ride Ambrose off of TV with a curb stomp into the cinder blocks, which is fine.
The styrofoam cinder blocks.
Yeah, stupid. Yes, but then again, this is the man that took a quote-unquote skill saw to the forehead and made it work.
Yep. Oh,
I accept it, okay?
Okay.
And the eulogy the week after was pretty great, too. Further showing just how important this, after the eulogy when Reigns comes out, it kind of went downhill from there. But at least the opening part, it shows that the people that were carrying this stinking program were absolutely Rollins and Ambrose. I mean, their chemistry is just amazing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was half expecting Ambrose to come out and run over Seth Rollins' brand new Lincoln Continental with a monster truck.
That'd have been
because they're
nice.
reusing the storyline from Rock and Austin all those years ago.
Oh, you know that when he comes back, that it's gonna just switch over to Austin Pillman, right?
Yeah, hopefully without the gun incident at the other person's home.
I don't know. That would be kind of fun to see again.
It would be cheesy. I wouldn't buy it. It was edgy and cool back in the 90s, but not so much
you'll
now.
get something ridiculous. Instead, you're going to get something ridiculous from Ambrose.
Yes.
Per usual. But that's always fun.
Yes.
But outside that, you have the poor booking of Cena, where Cena's Superman, and he's totally fine. Like those 16 suplexes.
Did you not see that? 16 suplexes, and he doesn't come out. He's not hobbling around any. He's
Vince
not favoring
had
the neck.
Some
he's
kind
not rubbing
of
his
heart
neck.
attack.
He's looking at us like,
ridiculous.
Yep, everything's fine.
And apparently it was Vince's call to do that. So I don't know why he's so concerned the Cena fans will ditch him over that. I mean, it's just ridiculous and just unnecessary.
It is, and the main event on Raw, that was 2 weeks ago. I didn't even watch Raw all that much.
When he buries Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
Big
and
mistake.
a lot of people were up in arms because
that could have worked. That could have worked if you had done it the day before SummerSlam. That would have been totally acceptable.
Yeah, because I watched the match. I watched the main event, not main event, but the main event on Raw.
Yeah.
And I saw him deliver the attitude adjustments to Harper and Rowan, and then finally to Bray. And at first I thought that, and people were freaking out about it. And I'm thinking, what's the big deal? He always does this. And then I didn't think it was a burial at first. Then I rewatched it a couple days later. I'm like, yeah, this is a burial.
No, when my bros and I were watching it live, we knew it was a burial. And it wasn't a. And the thing is that it could have been anyone. They just chose the Wyatts because they were an easy target.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is about making Cena look better, which, for better or for worse, mostly for worse.
Yes.
They're trying to make sure that people tune in Night of Champions. The problem is that this now has people actually believing they'll do a Cena wins Law thing again. I don't think they're doing it because the long term is that they are supposed to keep the belt on Brock until Mania. But internally, everyone's saying that because we all know Vince, Vince is going to end up having him get the strap back at some point or just get the strap off of Brock just because he's panicking. And that would be the wrong thing to do. Brock is money.
Yeah, Brock is money, and he's not Cena holding the belt. And a lot of people don't like Brock, but I like him.
I love Brock.
I've always
Brock's
been a fan
so
of
physical. Brock is just you believe him. Him and Heyman are just solid gold. And you know what? Brock says some really stupid stuff sometime, and I just love it. I eat it up. I mean, I think the best thing about this build to SummerSlam was when he did his shoot on John Cena. He says, "I'm gonna leave him in a pile of blood and urine and vomit."
It was
of his own.
Great. Yes,
of his own.
It was great.
I mean, it's
so
like
good.
It's so terrible, but his delivery is so bad, but it's so good.
And his shoot interview after
SummerSlam. What, you actually believe that John Cena was gonna win?
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
And that's the thing. It's like with Brock, you just inherently now. We all complained about the streak when it happened.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, it was the right decision. It really was. As long as the guy that beats Brock is a youngin' who deserves it.
Ambrose.
Cesaro. Rollins would be dirty. That would be great heat for him. Unfortunately, it feels like they're going to give it a Reigns, which is a big mistake. But just because he's too green, but who knows?
Now,
I think they're going to abort that. Let's move on.
Yeah. Now,
the Bella crap.
Oh, God. They're turning this Bella BS into the focal point of the program right
so
now.
Bad, and it's been consistent. I get why they're doing it, because they had nothing else. There's literally nothing else, because everyone that matters is either hurt, filming a movie, or just literally completely unavailable.
No one else is there to pick up the slack. And that's all on Vince McMahon.
Absolutely.
He has been so focused on having John Cena be the guy for the past 10 years that he's completely neglected most, if not the entire rest of the roster.
Yeah, pretty much.
To being that top guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? You reap what you sow, Vince.
Yeah. This is what happens when you try and do the Hogan thing, except allow Hogan except that instead of Hogan politicking his way to stay on top, you actively let Hogan kill your roster.
Yes.
It's bad. And the thing is that you know that it's not all John's fault. John just kind of goes with it because he's the company man. That's the problem. John Cena is too nice.
Mm-hmm. And he really didn't want to bury Bray Wyatt on that episode. He fought for him, but at the end of the day, he just said, okay, fine, I'll do it. Yeah,
it's tough. It's really tough. John's in a really difficult position to be in because I feel like he is one of us in a lot of ways. He just wants good programming, but he also understands that, he has to be, he has a heel run in him. He flat out said, I know exactly how I do it. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, because of all the logistics, but
I think I would just snap due to all the pressure and how crazy I would drive myself. I would just he's a lot more patient than I am.
Absolutely.
I'll give him that, because I would just call an audible in the ring and just snap on somebody and just cut a heel promo on Vince McMahon and just say, screw you, I'm doing it my way now.
Yeah. And see, that would work though. That would if he were to do that, he'd go Hollywood and it'd be perfect.
What, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, or just go Hollywood Rock?
Hollywood Hulk Hogan style.
Okay. Yeah.
Cena doing that?
Yeah, I would just lose my mind. Because
although they are saying that he might be going Hollywood like The Rock. That's a rumor.
Yeah, there's a rumor going
around. I don't buy it, but it's possible.
Yeah, because they were talking about how apparently they're like, I don't know if these are legit photos or not, of him having these fake tattoos due to an upcoming movie role, and he's playing the bad guy in a movie role.
No, that's real. Just so you know, those are real. Yeah, no, that's the whole reason that he was off Raw every other week going into SummerSlam.
Oh, okay.
His absences were strictly because of the movie. They needed them for filming, so for 2 weeks.
That's okay. Well, hopefully he does well. I hope his movie does well.
Absolutely.
Although, granted, it's probably a WWE film.
No, it's not, actually.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it's not. That's the whole reason that they had to plan it like that, because usually you do a WWE film. They write you off and they find a way to make it to work around it. Yeah, like for example, he wouldn't be doing it before SummerSlam. He would have done it after, like they done with Ambrose. They just time it right. So,
well, I hope his movie does well, and if it's interesting enough, I'll go see it.
Yeah,
and if it does really well, I think he might have a good career post wrestling, which is something that I hope Dave Bautista does.
Oh, absolutely. I think he'll be fine. I think he's got one more match in him. Wrap it up, take it on. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's admitted that he has a couple more at least one more in him.
Yeah. So. All right. So, anything else about wrestling?
No, just the fact that I'm frustrated with McMahon, and I'll still watch NXT TakeOver, but other than that, I think I'm going to stop watching Raw and SmackDown, at least for the time being.
Yeah, take a break.
Literally nothing is going on.
I'll let you know when things are getting back up. How's that?
Yeah, well, that, and I mean, I'm still going to listen to wrestling podcasts.
Of course,
the Solid Monster sounds off.
Yeah, you can't not. So, we're going to take a quick break, regroup, and talk about some video games when we come right on back, guys. So, stay tuned. And we are back, folks.
Welcome back.
Let's talk about some video games. So, we've had a lot of things happen in gaming. TGS is happening right now. Actually, we had the pre-TGS show. We had Gamescom happen. Hideo Kojima is working on Silent Hill.
Silent Hills with
an S. Yes, very important. With PT. I don't know if you had an opportunity to check out PT. I actually was lucky enough to be in Colorado when that hit.
PT, you mean
the playable teaser.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't. But
okay.
I know Norman Reedus is going to be in it, so that immediately perked my interest.
Yeah.
Because as shocking as this may seem to you guys, but I don't watch Walking Dead because I want to read the comics first.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Norman Reedus from one of my all-time favorite movies, Boondock Saints 1 and 2.
Yes.
Yes, I absolutely adore Boondock Saints. So that would be so awesome if I got to play as one of the McManus brothers in Silent Hill.
Just expect them to be really macho and then fall apart. I have a feeling that's the direction they're going. Because usually it's the other way around in Silent Hill. Anyways, so the deal is, and I had the chance to check out PT because I was in Colorado and one of my friends has a PS4. So we got to try it for a little bit. Scared the pants off of him. This game, I believe in it because, you know, the Silent Hill games that come out recently all kind of suck. It's not a secret. Ever since Team Silent fell apart.
Memories was okay.
Yeah, well, but it wasn't really a Silent Hill game.
That's true.
Shazam was good, but it's not really Silent Hill. But the point is that the rest of the games, they all try too hard to be Silent Hill 2. And it's like, guys, stop trying to be Silent Hill 2. There's other elements to Silent Hill. And the fact of the matter is that this Silent Hill, this new Silent Hills, which is a collaboration with Kojima and Del Toro, who, by the way, if you do a little bit of research, Guillermo del Toro is a fan of video games. He loves playing video games, and he actually cited Silent Hill back in the day as one of his favorites. The first Silent Hill he enjoyed because he said flat out, felt very much like a weird horror film as if it were being done. I think he compared it to Lynch. David Lynch. He said give him a very David Lynch vibe, which I can kind of get. I'm actually playing through the first Silent Hill right now, so failed to mention that earlier. But yeah, I did get a copy of that for pretty cheap, so I'm pretty excited about that. Hard copy. So anyways, but yeah, no, it's scary. It feels creepy. There are plenty of elements of the occult, which is very important in Silent Hill.
Yes, as someone who likes to do not research but look into occult stuff from time to time, I'm not an occultist. I just like to do research because I find it fascinating. Terrifying, but fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. That's why it's so creepy, because so much of it is so, you know, it works. So it's got that element, and it's still got the psychological. That's what made Silent Hill so creepy, honestly. That it combined the two elements of horror very well by using the occult imagery and combining it with the psychological bend. That's why Silent Hill 2 was as great as it was, because it also combined those with some solid gameplay. And PT, it plays off of, you know, the standard indie game horror first person stuff, and it works really well. But they're setting up that it's gonna probably be combination traditional third person with some first person elements, which is good. Something a little different, but I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be good, but time will tell. Time will tell how that one turns out. But
I really haven't been keeping up with the trade shows because I'm weird and I don't want to know anything prior to, before a video game comes out. I avoid commercials. I avoid playing demos because I want to go into a game cold.
Yeah. See, and I try and keep up to an extent. For certain games, I will go in cold, but others, I just kind of play it by ear. One game that I have been keeping up with, though, very closely, the new Smash Brothers, had a roster leak. I don't know if you heard about that.
I heard about it. Like I said, I didn't read too much into it because, once again, I go into games cold.
But, I can confirm the leak was real.
Okay, well, who all is going to be in it?
I think we got confirmation on Bowser Jr. I know for a fact that we did get confirmation on Shulk, finally.
Yeah, Shulk.
Finally got confirmation on him.
Yeah, and I will be the only person among my group of friends that knows who Shulk is, which is sad.
Yeah. Well, potentially, though, something else is on the horizon that could change your minds, and we'll be talking about that in just a little bit. Opportunity for them to finally dive into.
And why I'm so pissed about it.
We'll get back to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But other than that, you also had TGS. You have TGS going on. Sony repeated their Gamescom showing at TGS, except they introduced that Persona 5 is going to also be on the PS4, so that's good. Still no word from Square Enix on Final Fantasy 15. It doesn't sound like
eventually.
Yeah, it's probably coming next year at the
Holiday
soonest. Probably, I'm going for same here. That's my money. Going on that. Now, the game that I saw recently in motion, in action, and it's completely skewed me. On one hand, I didn't want to dive into an X-Bone because the graphics for multiplats are better on PS4. But one game is quickly tipping me over because I'm already more interested in the exclusives on X-Bone than I am with the exclusives on PS4. But the fact that Metal Gear Solid 5 is now on Steam has me saying, okay, well maybe the one big multiplat I want on the PS4 I can wait on that. But the nail in the coffin for me wanting to go over to X-Bone is actually some of the footage of Halo Master Chief Collection that's come out.
Yeah, and how is it?
And it's 1080p and 60 FPS.
Well, that's all well and good. But,
online.
Well, I don't care about
maps.
the graphics so long as it's the same gameplay from Halo 2.
Which it is, just so you know it is. Well, just so you know, the Halo 2 is completely on board. I mean, we actually had the opportunity to talk with the guys from 343 during RTX this year. And, the way that they have it set up is they have all the game engines on the disc. And literally, when you boot up a map from Halo 1, it has all the Halo 1 physics. Same with Halo 2 and 3 and even 4 if you want to, if you're feeling crazy and actually want to play through 4, I don't know why you want to, but if you want to, the option is there. Exactly. Or if you want to play a good round of SWAT that's super fast, which I can understand that, you can. That's the whole thing. And they said that not everything translates 1-1 just due to some tiny geometry issues, but that for the most part, the parts of Halo 2 that you remember are pretty much the way you remember it, give or take. Good. So no worries about that. And the thing is that the multiplayer uses all the maps with the old textures just up-resed to work at 1080p, widescreen, 60 frames per second. And the engine plays like you remember. The guys that are doing that are working on this heavily are the guys that actually did some of the maps for Halo 2. I can't remember the name of the studio. They're based out of here in Austin. Mm-hmm. And they actually splintered off of Bungie back in the day. So they've done some maps for some different companies over the years, and I think they're still involved with Halo.
Have they announced a price for it yet?
Yeah, I believe they did, that it is a full-price game, but considering all the SKUs you're getting, I'd say it's worth $60.
Well, I was afraid it was going to be worth...
Oh, no.
It was going to be priced a lot more.
Oh, no. It's going to be a standard SKU. No worries.
Because it doesn't matter how much it costs, I'd still buy it. I'd almost sell my soul to play Halo 2 again.
But online. So it'll have that. The online system on X-Bone is pretty solid. Still calling it the X-Bone, even though I'm probably going to get it now. But I'm really excited to see that. And of course, I got to get a next-gen console for WWE 15, even though it's going to probably suck from a gameplay perspective. They haven't shown any gameplay from it yet. Now, the animation's going to look nice.
It's going to be the same thing from last year.
With better animations.
So if you played last year or the year before that, and if you liked it, or if you pretty much liked it, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, it's acceptable. I think my biggest problem, though, is just that the mechanics are really wonky. Although they are doing some things, like there's a new grappling system that's really cool.
Goody.
Because as you know, the Ukes team now is, since they no longer do the UFC games, they're now 100% behind the WWE game. So it opens up. They're trying to change the way that match flow goes to be closer to the way that actually goes on television. So you're not going to have, your standard, knock the guy down, just, reversal, etc., etc. No, it actually opens up and you end up in the chain wrestling match.
Good, because the reversals, that's all I would do.
Yeah.
And it would just basically break down into a gigantic QuickTime event.
Exactly. So they're trying to get away from that, which is good. And instead, they're going to try and do, like, take the grappling systems similar to what they've done in UFC and then adapt it to fit the WWE style of gameplay. So we'll see what they do with that. It'll be interesting.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that the creator wrestler system, you can actually create your wrestler and go into a career mode where you start out in NXT and you work your way up to the main roster.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
And can you play with other people online in that mode, or is it just strict?
That I don't know. I haven't read up on that part. The one thing I do know for sure, though, is that the animations will be top notch because one of the guys that brought in for motion capture, Cesaro.
That's good.
So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
So, because if we can play online, I think you and I have a tag team championship in our future.
Too. That'll be fun.
Yes, it would be.
Anyways, all right. So moving on from that side of games, console space. Yeah, console space is kind of in a drought right now, but we already knew that. Just kind of how it goes. Unfortunately, I think both of the systems were released too early.
Of course they were.
By a year or two.
2 years. We're getting most of the games that are coming out for the PS4 and Xbox One. They're not going to be out until holiday of 2015.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, a 2-year gap.
Yeah, and it's too bad. I think what really offends me is the fact that PS4 is selling so well with no exclusives.
Well, yeah, but let us not forget
the Wii
hype. The exact same thing.
The Wii actually launched with exclusives that were good, though.
That's true.
It came out with Twilight Princess. I mean, come on. I think that alone drives some hype on day one.
Yeah, but let's not forget that 2 years is all it took for the Wii to go to Prince to Pomper.
Yeah,
from
but that's
2008 to 2010.
That's more to do with the fact that Nintendo just didn't. They thought they could get away with riding the Wii a little bit longer, and then they realized, oh crud, no, we can't. We're gonna start working on the new system already, and they got stuck in this weird cross-generational issue. So
yeah.
It was just bad timing. They got Dreamcasted, but it's okay because they're doing enough in order to keep themselves afloat and make it to the next step. And from what I'm hearing about what they're doing with their unified architecture, making sure both the handheld and the Wii U are running on the same interface, I think that's going to really alleviate a lot of the issues that Nintendo's been running to lately.
Hopefully.
So. Speaking of Nintendo, they announced a brand new revision of the hardware, the new 3DS in Japan and in Europe. I don't know if we have a release date in America yet. I know Europe's getting it in 2015, and it will be released in Japan, I believe, this October.
Whoop-de-doo.
It's basically a spec upgrade, not by much, but it's basically like a DSi. It's got an extra little analog nub and 2 extra ZL and ZR buttons on the back. It's really more of an intermediate step. It's not meant to replace your 3DS completely. Most games that are being developed from here out will be like the Game Boy Color games, where they work on the original Game Boy, but they might run a little bit better on the new revision. Until they reach the end of the life cycle, in which case you'll probably see new 3DS games exclusively.
Yeah, well, that's not what I've heard, or maybe I just am reading different sources than you, but I've heard, according to Reddit, because I'm on the Nintendo subreddit there, that according to some developers, that the new 3DS has double pretty much everything that the original 3DS has.
It might, but that doesn't make it a full revision.
Well,
because
the revision I'm a little irritated at because it has supposedly double the stuff, double the RAM, double the power, that sort of thing.
It has a slightly faster processor, is what I've read. Not enough to be significant enough. Yeah. Enough to where you can have games that couldn't run on the stock 3DS run, like Xenoblade, which is a new 3DS exclusive port. It's not as good as the Wii version, but it's still pretty solid, and having that game on the go is pretty nice, and it's a way for people to play it.
And that's ridiculous. Come on, you can't expect me to believe that you couldn't get that to run on the 3DS.
You can't, because of the size of the levels. They're just too big. If you look at the 3DS and the 3DS games, you don't do
it at all.
Because you have a new revision.
Why do the revision at all?
Because
just keep it on the Wii.
They did the same thing with the DS to DSi and Game Boy to Game Boy Color. That's just what Nintendo does. They release a slightly more powerful variant just before they release the next system. Because with the next one, I think this is their way of saying, yeah, the next one's not going to necessarily be backwards compatible, guys. So we're doing this instead. Which would make sense, because from what we're hearing, they're going to be they're more focused on unifying their mobile space with their handheld space, with their console space. If they're doing that, then yeah, you're probably going to lose the second screen.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
So that would be why you would release this revision, so that way you have a place for 2-screen games, and then you can go back down to 1. Again, that's just speculation. Treat it as speculation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, granted, I already have Xenoblade on the Wii already, so it really doesn't affect me, and I really shouldn't be all that much upset. But I don't know, it just feels I feel kind of cheated because I didn't just get my 3DS, but I got my Zelda 3DS XL package for Christmas, and now.
No, I understand. I got the Yoshi 3DS XL for my birthday, and it's like, on one hand, it is that, but at the same time, you also have to ask, is it really making that much of a dent? And I don't think it will, because if you look at how the DSi was handled and how the Game Boy Color was handled, they're not gonna risk the split. There's gonna be a few games that'll be released for it, but for the most part, most of the games are still gonna work on the old model, because it makes zero sense to abandon
alienate them.
Yeah, because you have a very strong install base on the 3DS. There's no reason to just ditch them. Yeah. Makes zero sense.
Speaking of ditching people, the 3DS, the new 3DS, is going to be region locked, and everyone let out a collective groan.
Now,
because this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Now, something to keep in mind: the previous, the original 3DS was region locked. Now, a lot of people have weighed in on why it is over the years, but I honestly believe that the main reason for the region locking is because of the R4 carts. Piracy got really bad at the end of the DS lifespan. I understand why people are angry about region lock. I agree. It does suck, because there's a lot of games that do come out, especially in Japan, that it's a real bummer to not get them in America, and it's nice to be able to, have one system and not to buy another one in order to import them. Was what was always nice about the Nintendo's handhelds, is that you imported games. But the biggest problem is that they never had piracy at the level of the DS, and it is a double-edged sword, because this kind of behavior does encourage those kinds of carts to be developed, because you got to have something to put your English patch onto and whatnot. So I can see the argument for why it doesn't work, but I also can understand, and I need to do more research into this before saying this is the reason, but if the lack of region lock helped make the R4 cart such an exploitable tactic, then yeah, I can understand why they're doing it, but it does kind of suck. It does.
I think that's more of an excuse and a crutch than anything. I mean, you're going to have piracy issues no matter what you do.
Yeah, but again, the DS level of piracy was significant enough that it actually did eat into their bottom line. So,
a company that has more money than God at the moment. Yeah, I'm strumming the smallest violin for them right now.
Yeah, the same company that's also getting crap for abandoning the casual audience. You have to keep that in mind, too. They have shareholders they have to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know. Hopefully they don't do this anymore, because this is ridiculous. There is absolutely very little reason, I will argue there's no reason, piracy and all, to region lock your stuff anymore. Sony doesn't do it, Microsoft doesn't do it.
Yeah, but Sony and Microsoft don't have a handheld that's successful.
Well, they have their consoles that are successful. Their consoles don't have region locking.
Yeah, but consoles are a different beast altogether. The reason they used to put region lock on consoles is because of the issues of TV rates being different. Now that everyone's on the same refresh rate, give or take, it's no longer an issue. They also do have region locking. It's just not mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to the publisher.
Up to developers or publishers?
Publishers, not the developer.
Yeah,
publisher.
Which developers
can be
and
developers
to their
sometimes.
credit, they know that if they region lock their game, that's basically career suicide.
Well, it's not, because most games are not region free. It's only the obscure games that usually are region free. Like, for example, the Xbox version of Ghostbusters was region free because they knew that they had their hands tied and they couldn't release an Xbox version in the UK. So because they of an exclusivity issue, something to do with rights and whatnot. So they only released it on PS4 out there. So for everyone else who had an Xbox 360 or PS3, my bad, PS3.
That would look
same
amazing.
PS4. That would be cool.
A Ghostbusters game on PS4.
That would be cool.
Amazing.
Anyways, but yeah, when that game came out, they released the 360 version region free, and the same goes with other issues. The problem is that and this is why region locking is a thing, especially with Japanese consoles, and why the 3DS has this issue. The price of games and DVDs in Japan is ridiculous.
Yes, we are talking $300 for the entire box set of Gundam Wing on Blu-ray.
I can get the DVD set of that in America for about $80.
Yeah, give or take.
Whole series, give or take, depending on what version, and that's on DVD. Granted, so because they haven't. Unfortunately, you can't get the Blu-rays of that out here. The standard price for a season of an anime on Blu-ray in America is about $60,
which is not terrible.
Worst case scenario, when you're dealing with an expensive series that's split in half, you're paying about $120. That's not bad at all for an entire season.
In Japan, could be easily double that.
Easily. They really overcharge for Blu-rays and DVDs and whatnot. That's why their used market is such a big deal, because people can't afford to buy things new over there. Mm-hmm. And it's also why the used market is so pristine over there, because everyone has to take care of it, because they realize, when I'm done with it, I'm going to sell it so I can get an ROI, because this was expensive. I don't have space for it. I got to flip it.
Yeah. And it's really funny because it's not just their DVDs or Blu-rays that are expensive. It's everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The only thing that's cheap over there is manga. That's why it's such a popular form of entertainment, because it's cheap. You buy the magazines, like 300-400 yen, and even then, like if you get a tankobon, it's like expensive. An expensive volume is 450 yen. That's $4.50. Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So cheap. Anyways, so get back to it though. The issue is that you have a lot of people importing foreign copies of these games. That's why a lot of times there will be such a delay. It's not just because you have to take care of translation. It's not just because of the text. It's also because if you do that, then you're taking away sales from the local market, and you're basically feeding the bigger market. Now, there were other ways to ensure that there was region locking, like with Nintendo in the past with their consoles. The Super Nintendo isn't region locked, but their region locking was the shape of the cartridge. Mm-hmm.
And basically, in an American console, and I think the same way with European consoles as well. With the Super Nintendo.
No, your European console, you have different issues. That's why it's not the same as the American console, because the American console's guts are identical to the Japanese ones. The PAL one's a little different because of PAL standards.
Yeah. Well, regardless, here's the entire copy protection for the Super Nintendo here in America. Those little tabs in the back in the cartridge slot of the console.
Break
a pair of pliers, rip them out, and you can play Super Famicom games.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Yeah, because the guts are the same. But basically, because of that, that's why they've as Japan has started to move more and more towards using handhelds as their primary form of console. That's why you're seeing region lock be so prevalent in there. There was an option to region lock on Vita, and there's an option to region lock on the PSP. That's where Nintendo got it from. So I understand why it is a thing. I don't like it, but I understand why it is a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just don't understand why. I mean, good reason for you, but then again, I just find them just complete cop-out excuses.
Yeah. Again, you have to keep in mind, I'm coming at this from the perspective of the business. I'm ignoring consumer demand. I'm ignoring what the consumers are saying. I'm looking at the bottom line because at the end of the day, it is a money issue. That's why it exists the way it does. It's not about consumer rights at all. I mean, I'm not saying that that's right or that's the position you should have. Yeah. I'm just saying that is the way Nintendo is thinking. And it should be.
That's where I'm coming from. I'm the consumer. I should be able to play whatever I want to play on your stuff that I've legally bought with my own money. And until I get to do that, I'm going to be very angry about this. I'm going to be adamant, and I'm just going to be extremely frustrated. Now, granted, I don't import a lot of games. In fact, I don't have any imported games currently. I hope to change that because I have a Sega Saturn.
Yeah, all the imported games I have are on like PlayStation and stuff like that. Older systems. I don't have any newer imports at the moment.
Yeah. But at the same time, so long as if only one person is mad about this, then I'm mad about it because we are the consumers and we should be able to play whatever games we want so long as we have the proper hardware and the proper software. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care if the game is from a different country than I am. I should be able to play it.
Yeah, it's a really difficult. It's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah. And if Nintendo's smart, hopefully their next generation of handhelds and or consoles, they will get rid of the region free.
You mean they will make it region free?
Yeah, make it region free. Sorry, folks.
Get rid of the region lock.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll take one last break, and then we'll come back and discuss a little bit about anime and manga, and then we'll go ahead and take it home and wrap it up. Stay tuned and hang in there, guys. We've almost made it to the finish.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the MAVcast.
So, what have you been reading lately, Drew?
I've been trying to catch up. Like, here's how far behind I got on this manga. The last time I've read Fairy Tail, I was in chapter 330s.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, I'm like 70 chapters behind, which right now I'm on chapter 364, which I have popped up right now. So I've been reading it. Thankfully, it's an action manga. It's a shonen manga, which means it's easy reading because half of it's like action scenes anyway.
Yeah, just kind of fast forward through it.
Yeah, I can. The dialogue really isn't all that important, especially now. So I just now got to the point where I don't know, the giant. I just got after the point where they got to the giant village, the land of the giants, that sort of thing.
Nice.
Yep. So I've been power reading through that. Obviously, I'm on Attack on Titan. Magi. I've been reading a little bit of that. Although this is going to sound very weird for me to say this, but as much as I like it, and as much as I was high on it the last time we did a podcast, I'm kind of cooling off on it.
On which one?
On Magi.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. It could be pronounced Magi, but
it's either Magi or Magi.
Pronounce it Magi.
Yeah.
Because I like the Arabian Nights theme. Because one of my favorite Disney films of all time is Aladdin. So to have it set in that theme, plus one of the main characters in it is Aladdin, it's really cool. But at the same time, it is offensively generic, as I've heard the people from the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast describe it. And another thing, on the anime side, this is probably one of the most disappointing animes I've ever seen. Well, not ever seen. That's a little harsh, but definitely the most disappointing anime of this year. Sailor Moon Crystal.
Oh, boy.
I was boy. Yeah, what now?
Oh, boy.
Folks, hear me out. I love Sailor Moon. I'm reading the manga right now. I loved the anime back whenever I was a kid. I loved it so much that I watched it whenever I could, whenever I went to my cousin's house down in Arkansas because he had Cartoon Network and I didn't. So I absolutely adored Sailor Moon.
You know that feel.
Yeah. And even though I was a boy, I wasn't really supposed to watch Sailor Moon because it was quite a girl show. But I love Sailor Moon. Pretty basically, yes. Whenever I started watching the series, I had the utmost highest hopes for it. And the animation studio, whoever it is, the name escapes me, but they have done a horrendous job at actually remaking this anime. And I fear that the anime has done so poorly, or is doing so poorly right now, that we may never see another Sailor Moon anime or Sailor Moon anything again because of this. And it just looks like utter dog crap. I mean, Usagi's hair looks completely... It's one piece of animation. It doesn't flow at all. It's like she stuck her head in a vat of a bunch of hair gel, and it just sticks there.
Yeah, that... Okay.
It's just so bad.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like this so much, and I was just so disappointed.
That's been actually a recurring issue with anime at large. Just the laziness that's been going into the animation lately.
Well,
oh my god.
To Sailor Moon Crystal's anime studio's credit, they are understaffed. And I can understand it. They're working a skeleton crew, but at the same time, it's just so disappointing.
Yeah, after a certain point.
Yeah, if I was Naoko Takeuchi, I would be pissed that it's like we've been waiting for the. I've been waiting for this for God knows how long, for years. So hyped up for this, and this is what you give me.
Yeah,
I am not happy with this anime at all.
It's tough. It's tough. In terms of what I've been watching and reading, I watched through Knights of Sidonia. I'm gonna start reading the manga. I really dig it.
Knights of Sidonia?
Good. Yeah, Knights of Sidonia.
Is that? No, I'm thinking Knights of the Zodiac.
Nah, you're thinking something different. Knights of Sidonia is a mecha.
That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to avoid that because I'm not into mecha.
It's actually really good though. Kojima ended up retweeting about it. It's gotten a lot of good feedback. It's a Netflix original series. It's really interesting.
Wait, who ended up retweeting it?
Hideo Kojima, which is to be expected. You know, he's really into mecha himself, so it's not a shock.
I could tell. I
wonder why Zone of the Enders is a thing.
Yes. Doesn't take a rocket scientist.
Anyways, but basically, I don't know. It's got this perfect hard sci-fi vibe to it. And yeah, there's mech stuff, but it doesn't overdo it. It feels good. I don't know. I really enjoy it. But I love sci-fi, so that's my bias coming through.
Well, I like it too, but at the same time, I'm not that into mecha. It's a catch-22.
Yeah. Let me think what else. I haven't been watching as much. Oh, now I remember. My brothers had me watching through Akame ga Kill. It's okay. The animation's really bad. I'm trying to, because it's a summer anime, I'm trying to give it the benefit of a doubt, but yeah, it's not very good. I'm sorry. I'm not digging it.
I've been watching a little bit of No Game No Life. I think I might have mentioned.
I'm about to pick that one up actually myself.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I've heard that it's like there's fan service is an issue in that one, and it's not the good kind of fan service.
Well, what is the bad kind of fan service in your mind? The TNA stuff?
No, not the TNA. I can deal with a little bit of that. No, the bad kind is when it involves the Moe girl.
Yeah, I did have to stomach that.
Yeah, but I've heard that the good stuff outweighs it.
Yeah,
that's what I've been told.
It caused me to laugh a couple times at each episode because of how laugh out loud funny it is, because it's ridiculous. But at the same time, it's worth your watch. If you tell you what, give it 3 to 5 episodes, and if you don't like it, stop watching.
Yeah, that's usually what I give most series, 3 to 5 to convince me, and then if not, I'll drop it.
I gave Sailor Moon Crystal 2 because I was just so disgusted.
Yeah, it's hard. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah, good.
I've been reading, or I've been trying to read wherever I could find the actual manga for it. Urusei Yatsura. Now, for the old Taku, Urusei Yatsura is one of the finest comedic mangas and animes of the 80s. That's where Lum comes from. Rumiko Takahashi, I am such a fan of her works. I loved Rama One Half. I adored Inuyasha. Urusei Yatsura is, while not her first work, it was basically her first breakout hit. It was before Rama One Half. It was back during the 80s, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
Like I think my favorite episode of the manga, or of the anime, excuse me, is where they actually go to Hawaii for a vacation and they eat the full course meal from hell. It's so funny.
Sounds like a pretty good one.
It's a good one. I mean, it is definitely old school 80s anime, and for someone who loves 80s anime, 80s
absolutely.
and early 90s, I will argue that the 80s was probably the boom period for anime and manga.
In terms of creativity, not even the question.
Yeah, I mean, I could just gush over stuff from the 80s on the anime and manga scene. Yeah. One of my favorites being Area 88, but anyway, I'm getting off topic here.
Yeah.
So Urusei Yatsura, I've been getting into that because Lum is hot, but it's also hilarious. But at the same time, the anime can be a bit of a slog. It's one of those animes where you could watch an episode and you could be good for a week. It's like, I really don't need to see another episode of this for another week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so watch it sparingly, but if you need a good laugh, check it out. Urusei Yatsura.
Urusei Yatsura, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, on a different note in the manga world, it's something that brought us together. Naruto's ending.
Yeah. When is it ending?
It's ending probably within a couple months or so. There is no set date, but we think that's lining up with when the next movie comes out. It's pretty obvious. It's been pretty obvious for a while that the manga is ending, but it is definitely going out with a whimper, not a bang.
Yeah.
Good God. Oh my God. Where do I even start with this? Okay, so everyone knows I have a YouTube channel that I said that when the series is over, I'll go ahead and review it as a whole. You're not going to like what I have to say because, frankly, this ending is just so bad. And here's why. Here's the deal. It could have been fine. It really could have. But the biggest issue is that you decide to go ahead and introduce a new villain last minute, not properly develop her, and then try and pull the "your god is a lie" card twice.
Yeah,
twice.
Sounds like late 90s JRPG logic. Final Fantasy IX.
Look, doing that. It gets better. Also,
I love Final Fantasy IX, by the way. Please don't bash me for that.
No, Final Fantasy IX is great. But the thing is that it's like there is actually some good and thought out and properly plotted out elements to this climax that's occurred. Mm-hmm. Namely, anything involving Kakashi. Just about everything involving Kakashi in this last arc has been good. If we ignore Kakashi, then everything has been downhill since the Infinite Tsukiyomi. It's actually talking to one of my friends about this afternoon. And good God.
It's been downhill for a lot longer than that.
Well, yeah, it's been downhill. Now, obviously, it really has been down. I'm talking about this specific arc. Mm-hmm. This specific arc has gone downhill since then. The whole thing has been downhill since the end of the Pain arc.
Oh, yes.
Like, that was the
beginning of the end. That was when it, quote, jumped the shark. Although
absolutely.
I will say it didn't just jump the shark. It pole vaulted over an entire shark tank.
No, that was the War arc that did that. Before that, absolutely. But yeah, no, it's this War Saga that did that. Where do I begin with my issues? Problem number 1, removing all the maturity from Naruto. Problem number 2, taking Sakura's development away from her. Problem number 3, Deus Ex Machina makes Sasuke turn face. Problem number 4, having it not be Naruto that brings him to the light side. Problem number 5, Sasuke's not dead yet, and he has no place in this ninja world from what we can tell, because he's already committed so many atrocities, there's no way that he can be forgiven for it to make any sense. Problem number 6...
I don't mean to interrupt you. Hold that thought. I guarantee you, at the end of the manga, Sasuke is going to be pardoned of all crimes.
Oh, probably. At this point, you're probably going to be right. Problem number 6, choosing to try to satisfy all fans by going with a pairing neutral ending. At least that's what it looks like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that one is tentative. That could change. But I feel like if you're gonna do it, just wrap it up. At this point, people want to know. Not giving them an answer will probably do more harm than good at this point. It's a long runner. People want to know who ends up with who.
I still want to know who ends up with who.
I mean, that's...
I have my reservations, don't get me wrong. And I think I still have a feeling that Mike shipping Narasaku is going to be the one that comes true.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to make it, if you want it to have any sense at all, it has to be that one.
Well, the hard part with that one, I'm waiting for the official translation come Monday, and I'll probably talk about that later. But yeah, my whole thing with the Sakura thing is that they've just, I actually love her character, I really do. But the way that they handled it after the confession has just been a complete wreck. It's an atrocity what they did with her.
What have they been doing with her? I haven't been reading for a year and a half, but
you haven't missed much.
That's
at
what
all.
I thought. I'm so glad I got out of the fandom when I did.
Dude, I'm not even in the fandom.
Yeah, you still keep up with it.
I just read it. That's all I do. I don't even read it excited.
Facto, you're a part of it, kind of like how we're both a part of the quote IWC, even though we don't want to be.
Well, I actually do. I'm part of Wrasslin, the best IWC. We keep it fun and playful.
Yeah, but anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I do. No, but basically, I mean, God, I just want it over. I want it done.
Basically, folks, we are in the sharpshooter. Bret Hart has it locked in tight, and we are just...
I'm tapping.
We're tapping.
Look, I've been tapping out for a year and a half.
Tapping.
I've been tapping out for a year and a half, okay? God.
It's just been a disaster.
Yeah.
I hope Kishimoto thinks...
Here's what you need to do. You need to just read through it for yourself and see how bad it is.
I don't think I could stomach it. Well, for one thing...
you could stomach it because Kakashi stuff is that good. Just trust me on that one.
Okay.
The Kakashi and Obito stuff is really, really solid. Outside of that, it's bad. Like, granted, I also am someone that was really angry at them turning Kyuubi face, so keep that in mind. I even for years, have refused to call him by the name Kurama just because of how much bile was left in my mouth by that, so...
Yeah. Correct me if I saw one picture, and this could have been Photoshop for all I know, but it showed Kurama giving Naruto the finger. Did you see something like that, or
I don't know if that happened or not. I can't remember. Yeah. It's been so long.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past him. I'd be okay with that, by the way.
Yeah, because it just showed the nine-tailed fox holding up his paw and then just giving, I think it was Naruto, the finger. It was so funny.
Pretty sure that's a Photoshop.
Yeah, it would have been fine if it was a real one, but...
Yeah, I mean, his character is such that I'm totally okay with that. They even once they've ruined him, I mean, I don't know. I think there's just so many missed opportunities in this dumb thing, and that's the real tragedy of it. It should have ended differently, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Ended after the pain arc.
Yeah, I probably should have. Honestly, when it's all said and done. Well, it needed one more arc after that, but they should have just gotten it over and done with.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like with Bleach and how it should have ended after the Aizen arc. Should have ended with Pain arc, or maybe one more substantial arc after Pain, and that would be it.
Yeah, and even then, the arc that we have now, it's a complete letdown, and I think everyone was let down by it. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone that actually says that this arc was great. Everyone knows that's weak. Everyone knows that's got problems.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways. Well, on the plus side, because we were into it, we ended up connecting, and we're having the MAVcast right now. So we can't we can always have the fond memories of the pre-war arc Naruto.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, just like in the episode of Star Trek, the first season, where Jean-Luc goes back to Paris, at least on the holodeck, we'll always have Paris. That's the name of the episode. We'll always have the pre-war Naruto. And just, I don't know. I have my reservations for Naruto, my utter disdain for it. It's just...
No, I think the biggest thing is that we got invested enough that when it went downhill it hurt.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. And since then, it's funny because another series that had that, I think the biggest issue, and this is something that I was talking, again, one of my friends on campus, the problem is that it got popular because of the anime. And people were holding it to a standard that was never meant to live up to because it's a shonen weekly manga. But people saw the story and thought it was great, and it showed depth. So people expected more from it than we should ever have. We never should have held it to the standard that we did, because ultimately it was never going to live up to it. The problem is that Kishimoto did such a good job of leading us on that we actually bought into it, that, it's going to deliver. Because we had no reason to believe otherwise. A series that actually... It doesn't help that a series that actually did that attracted similar people was Full Metal Alchemist, which ended up totally delivering on all fronts.
Exactly.
The manga and Brotherhood... Just absolutely, and even the original anime, which takes a weird departure with its ending and does it with grace, is still, it's not as good as Brotherhood, which is just better structured.
It has its place,
but it's still solid, and that's the thing. That's an example of when something actually nails it, and it came out around the same time. So a lot of us had our opinions skewed because of it.
Yeah,
I have no doubt about that. So,
oh well, I mean, I have never felt, I hadn't felt so strongly about an anime since the old school Toonami days.
Yeah, absolutely.
DBZ and Rurouni Kenshin and all those great series. Granted, anime was a new concept to me at the time, so maybe that had something to do with it.
It probably does, but at the same time, you look at those series and the way that they were developed and executed. It was a different time. The studios were very different. And the thing is that right now, and this is a general issue, honestly, and I was talking to my animation professor about this yesterday. Yeah, yesterday over lunch. I think it has to do with the Japanese culture right now, that the current generation, because of how things are going.
Are you talking about by current generation, are you talking about the Fujoshi, the people who refuse to see the light of day, who have a shelves full of Gundam model build kits who have a bot?
I'm talking about the creative side. I'm not talking about the market. I'm talking about the people that are running the studios, that are the animators, that are the grunts, that are the leads and whatnot.
Okay. And
the industry as a whole. Basically, what we're seeing is, and this is not just exclusive to anime. Miyazaki saw it happening in Ghibli. It's the same reason that Metal Gear Rising didn't happen. The original Metal Gear Rising, I should say. It's the reason that we are not getting any big anime similar to Bebop. Originals like Bebop are not being made for this reason.
Or Outlaw Star.
Anything along those lines. Basically anything that's different and doesn't appeal to the otaku demographic. Some of it is from a business perspective, but it's also because the people that are there are not willing to take risks. They're not willing to take lead positions the way that the previous direction. They don't have that drive the way that the Miyamotos and the Miyazakis and the Watanabes of the previous generation of creative types. They don't have that same spirit and energy, I feel. So they just, they come and they do their job, they do their work, and then, they're satisfied with that. They're satisfied with the status quo.
Yeah. Well, plus, I think because things are ridiculously expensive over in Japan, they can't take any risks, much like how the gaming industry nowadays
Absolutely.
Is. Because if they take the risk and that risk doesn't pay off, they're out of a job,
exactly.
Most likely.
Yeah. But at what point, though, because that's the thing, if you have a good idea, it's going to sell. So, usually, obviously there are exceptions, but generally speaking.
Of course it'll sell, but they need it to sell they need to sell enough and to not only break even, but also to make a profit, because at the end of the day, everyone's got to get paid.
Exactly.
Everyone has to eat.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is also that we've gotten spoiled by what computers allowed the previous again, the previous generation was able to use computers in a way that it made things that you couldn't do before very possible, or things that were difficult before easy. But it also makes the really easy stuff even easier. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's kind of skewed the talent pool, and this is not exclusive to Japanese animation, by the way. When I'm speaking of this in general, and this is coming from someone that is kind of a product of both computer 2D with tweening and whatnot, having done a little bit of that, and done some traditional hand-drawn. I mean, it's a very difficult position to be in right now. And it's very frustrating because, we're seeing Ghibli temporarily shut down, potentially forever. We're seeing studios go out of business on a regular basis. It's a really rough time to be in the 2D animation business right now.
And I mean, you have to think of the market just self-cannibalizing itself.
Absolutely.
With everything. And
too much of the same stuff that's too similar instead of trying to go for something different to keep it diverse. That way you're not hitting up the same people over and over again.
Yeah. But then again, it's those same people over and over again that are buying the stuff and keeping you afloat. So
yeah,
it's
so you
really
have to,
a precarious position.
You have to basically
really catch-22.
Yeah, you really have to learn when it's appropriate to take those risks and make them happen. So
yeah, there's a good anime out there, and hopefully we see more of this. And I have some mixed feelings towards crowdsourcing because I personally have never gotten burned by them. But a lot of people have gotten burned by them in the past. There is an anime out there called Under the Dog.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this one.
Yeah, I hope that it makes its... If it hasn't made its financial goal, I hope it really makes it... I really need to contribute it before it goes away, but I need to wait until I get paid. If I can contribute towards their Kickstarter, it would be awesome. But this anime would not survive through regular means.
Oh, no. And that's the other thing. I think that the delivery system has changed so much for anime, thanks to the advent of sites like Crunchyroll and Hulu and Netflix. It feels like distribution is going to have to change completely to where, you watch these things online. Period. Anime is probably... I mean, even in America, they yanked Korra off of... Legend of Korra got yanked off of the Nickelodeon channel because it wasn't doing all that well in the ratings. But online, it was doing fantastic. That's where everyone was watching it, on official sites. So there was no reason to keep it on the main channel. Everyone's watching it online, so put it there. It's just a matter of finding out how you can properly monetize these things. We still haven't quite gotten into the point to where those impressions really, really, matter the way that they should. But I feel like this is a good thing for animation as a whole. The only downside to it is that I just hope this doesn't hurt image quality. But then again, at this point,
figured out.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They're smart folks. They're not dummies. I'm sure that they will get it. Maybe not to the high quality of a Blu-ray, but close to it.
Yeah, and it's difficult. As long as they release the high-def versions on Blue, I'm good.
Yeah.
But that's just my skewed opinion. I mean, I'm a filmmaker. You guys all know I go to film school. I care about IQ and stuff like that. I buy things on Blu-ray.
You're an animation whore.
I'm an animation. Yeah, absolutely. I care about how the animation looks. It matters to me because the thing is that if we're gonna make something anime, if we're gonna build this world, then we need to make it feel alive. There's a reason people love Ghost in the Shell. It would not work.
I do too.
Yeah. So what?
There's a reason why people love Ghost in the Shell.
Other than that.
Yeah, it's like, well, I like it too, but not because of the main issue that you knew I was going for, but because it's such an amazing sci-fi adventure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can't say much about, well, I like Standalone Complex too, but I like the original theatrical movie first.
Yeah, no, and it's true. It's true. Anyway, so...
But I think that anime is really at a crossroads. I mean, you mentioned something about the delivery system, which this is Japan we're talking about. For as technologically advanced as that country is, they are very old-fashioned when it comes to their delivery methods.
They're really slow on the uptake. They're worse than WWE is.
Yeah,
that's well, no, that's bad because WWE, as far as for all the crap we give them, in terms of delivery systems, they are cutting edge. They've always been cutting edge. I will give Vince credit where it's due. He is Mr. Pay-Per-View. He's the one that is killing pay-per-view. So,
and
I'll give him that.
Japan, this is the same country that they were still using flip phones around 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Even when the new iPhones came out, it took forever for them to get with it. And now
over.
More and more people have smartphones in Japan than flip phones, I believe. But at the same time, it still took them forever to get a smartphone in their hands.
Yeah.
And actually get them to use it. And the AAA podcast that I listen to, the Anime Addicts Anonymous, one of the hosts, his name is Mitsuki. They're all Gaijin. They're Gaijin, but they live in Japan. And he was talking about with this Japanese girl that I guess they were over at his house for his apartment for a party, and they don't use computers all that much, or at least laptops, for entertainment purposes. They use them for work.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah,
and so
that's why PC gaming is non-existent out there.
Yeah, and so this one Japanese girl, he's talking with with Mitsuki, and she's saying, "Well, I'm having trouble getting connected to the with this computer. Could you help me about it? Could you help me?" And so all he did was connect to the wireless, and she thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, so that just shows you what type of people you're dealing with in Japan. They are very traditionalist, which is good to an extent, but they are very slow when it comes to new things, adapting new things, especially technology.
Yeah. So
hopefully it gets better. Hopefully we get more anime, newer, fresher anime, but at the same time, I'm a manga guy first and foremost.
Yeah, totally understood. And I think that with manga, it's hard too because again they have the same issue right now. But I don't know. I probably need to just start looking for more stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're about close to 2 hour mark, so that about does it for us here at the MAVcast tonight. Thank you for joining us. I am one half of your hosts, JD, TL.
I am Drew.
And thanks for joining us. We'll hopefully be back a lot sooner. And also something to keep an eye out very soon. Got a project going on with my bros. It's going to be another, because the world needs another wrestling podcast, of course. The Over the Top podcast. Keep an eye out for that. That's going to be a really interesting project where we take a look at what's going on in the WWE Network, specifically looking at all of the Raws and Nitros as they get uploaded from chronological order, decide which one you should have been tuned into back in the 90s, and see it from a fresh perspective from a bunch of guys who didn't start watching Wrasslin until 2011.
You missed out, by the way.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah,
Good night, folks.
Good night, folks.